Dab. Yes.
One day as I did dab they go. Now I see my neighbor on top electric pole. Don't be hammer you hold so.
Before, so
Climb every day. Come on electric bill. You not gree pay.
wetin concern you for there? Abeg you, come over here.
Okay, oh. I don't talk my own. As I dab reach house. Yay! Fire! Fire! My brand new flat screen.
Hold up.
Wetin concern you for there? Abeg you, come over here.
Government property, na my property. If you don't come down now, I go report.
No be only report. Na report card.
Dab. Yes.
Nigerian Baptist Convention is inviting you to another edition of Baptist Night of Wonders with the theme Showers of Blessing, Ezekiel 34:25-26. Date is Friday, July 14, 2017 at Hebron Baptist Center, Idishin, Ibadan. And time is 9 p.m. Ministering under the auction of the Holy Spirit is the President, Nigerian Baptist Convention, who is also the President, Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Dr. Samson Olashipo Ayokunle. And the guest ministers are Pastor Philip Adika and Omotola Sat. Free buses will be available at Mokola Roundabout, Songo Junction, Gate, Challenge Molete Baptist Church and BCJ Akpata. Come and experience God's touch as it will be pouring out His blessings upon His people, and your life shall never remain the same. Jesus is Lord. Good day and welcome to News on the Hour. My name is Temitope Oladipo. On the news, Afenifere says Buhari change mantra ineffective. APC hails Ajimobi on performance. NLC tells federal government to increase minimum wage. And on the business scene, stock market investment crashed by 1.93 trillion naira. British Airways chaos continues at Heathrow. Now the news in full. The acting president Yemi Osinbajo today has taken stock of the 2 years of President Muhammadu Buhari administration and declared that positive results are clear for all to see. Osinbajo said this in the national broadcast to commemorate the nation's Democracy Day and second anniversary of the President Muhammadu Buhari administration. He recalled that the administration outlined 3 areas including security, corruption, and the economy for immediate intervention on assumption of office. while he also admitted that the fight against corruption appears slow because of the slow nature of the nation's justice system. All hands on deck to ensure that all stolen funds are recovered and culprits brought to justice. On security, he said the government's achievements in the northeast, where the Boko Haram sect openly challenged the nation's sovereignty, were clear enough for all to see. In a similar development, the acting president Yemi Osinbajo today admitted that the economy had proven to be the biggest challenge facing the present administration. He said the government was concerned about the harsh impact of unfavorable economic conditions of Nigerians. He said, admittedly, the economy has proven to be the biggest challenge of all. Bayelsa State Governor Mr. Sereke Dixon has challenged anti-democratic forces working to truncate the country's democracy to have a rethink, saying that democracy in Nigeria has come to stay. He said it is no longer fashionable to have a non-democratic society because democracy remains the best system of government. Dixon's comments were contained in his goodwill message to Nigerians on the 2017 Democracy Day by his Chief Press Secretary Daniel Iworosi-Maxkin. The governor expressed optimism that despite the nation's anti-democratic forces, the nation's democracy will continue to grow and become a reference point for many countries. Paying tribute to all those who have contributed immensely to the sustenance of democracy in the country, Dixon said that they have a confirmed place in the good works of history. Still on the Democracy Day, Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, has disclosed that his administration has not made a single land allocation since assumed office because of his mistake in the past. Speaking on Sunday in Abuja while briefing journalists on his scorecard during the last 1.5 years of his tenure as the FCT minister, Bello said the land racketeering group that used to operate in Area 11 near the Abuja Geographic Information System head office had suddenly disappeared as a result. He said institutional framework of the FCTA had been strengthened not only to ensure effective service delivery but also maintain institutional memory. Or while he has not appointed secretaries for the secretariat, the minister said he deliberately allowed the bureaucracy to work so that the management staff will no longer rely on the mentality of having to wait for directive on everything from a minister. As the federal government last week began the process for the review of the 18,000 minimum wage, with the setting up of a minimum wage committee organized labor and employer in the chemical and non-metallic product sector of the nation's economy, have agreed on 23,800 minimum wage for the least paid worker beside other benefits. Labor under Union of Chemical, Footwear, Rubber and Non-Metallic Products employee said it equally agreed with the Employer Federation under the aegis of Chemical and Non-Metallic Products Employer Federation for increment in housing allowance, transportation as well as overtime rates among others, such as standard hours of work, leave allowance and redundancy benefits. President of the Union, Mr. Babatunde Olatunji, urged the employer to quickly ensure the smooth and prompt implementation of the new NJIC agreement, which will enhance the welfare of workers to avoid unnecessary tension and industrial unrest. News on the hour continues after this timeout. Please stay with us. Glad to have you back. The Nigerian Labour Congress has urged the federal government to use the occasion of the Democracy Day celebration to announce the composition of a tripartite negotiation committee on the national minimum wage. The NLC president, Mr. Ayuba Waba, made the call in a statement he issued in Abuja today. Waba will recall that the minimum wage was increased to to 18,000 6 years ago, added that the patience of workers had been stretched due to the current inflation in the country. Waba also condemned the recent coup rumor, saying Labour was opposed to any move to truncate the current democratic dispensation. The NLC president ordered the leadership of the military to identify individuals involved in the suspected coup plot and prosecute them. As the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration clocked 2 years today, the Pan-Yoruba Social-Cultural Organization Afenifere has called the administration low in terms of performance. The group said the administration trained Matra had not changed the life of Nigeria for the better, in spite of all promises made by the All Progressive Congress. The Secretary General of the association, Chief Shende Arogbofa, reiterated that the only way for the country to overcome most of its problems was to be restructured. Still on this year Democracy Day, to celebrate this year Democracy Day, the Ogun State Governor Ibikunle Amosun had said there will be no rally to mark this year's celebration. Amosun said that rather than engage in a rally, he will use the occasion to inspect ongoing projects. This was contained in a statement by the Secretary to the State Government, Taiwo Adeoluwa, a copy of which was made available to newsmen. The governor, however, congratulated Nigerians, especially the people of the state, on this year's celebration of the nation's democracy anniversary. As Nigeria marks its 18th Democracy Day anniversary, the All Progressive Congress in Oyo State has applauded Governor Abiola Ajimobi over what the party described as the governor's renewed commitment to good governance, excellent service delivery, and repositioning for the state despite challenges. Commemorating the anniversary, the Oyo APC, in a statement issued by its Director of Publicity and Strategy, Mr. Olawale Sadare, he said the 2 years so far spent under the government of President Muhammadu Buhari have been the only defining moment of hope and national rebirth. It added that prayers and a better sense of patriotism were required from the citizenry. He said in Oyo State, it has been 6 years of good governance, induced restoration, transformation, and repositioning, courtesy the APC government of Abiola Ajimobi. However, the nation's overall economy, which took downturn. As Nigeria marks the 18th Democracy Day anniversary, a federal high court sitting in Ikoyi, Lagos, has given Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, and Paradigm Leadership Support Initiative a victory in round 1 of the group attempt to secure the release of federal government audited reports of 1999 to 2015. Justice Oluremi Oguntoyinbo gave SERAP and PLSI the permission to apply for judicial review and seek an order of mandamus directing and compelling the federal government and the Auditor General of the Federation to publish the audited reports of 1999 to 2015. The order granting leave by the court followed the hearing of an argument in court to expert motion by the SERAP Deputy Director Timothy Adewale. The order by Justice Oguntoyinbo has now cleared the way for SERAP and PLSI to advance their case against the government. The motion on notice is set for Wednesday, 28 June 2017 for the hearing of arguments on why the government should be directed and compelled to release and publish the audited report. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Abubakar Sadiq, has declared that recent intelligence has indicated that terrorists may be planning to attack military bases in the country. Sadiq added that it had become important to fortify the bases. The Air Force Chief noted that the solution was to have a base defense system driven by technology across military facilities. He said this at a retreat on base defense planning held at Air Force Institute of Technology, Kaduna State. He explained that the Air Force, despite its potency, needed to secure its ground bases against terrorist attack. Sadiq said the retreat is aimed at educating relevant stakeholders on the new base defense concept, which is premised on the deployment of air-minded ground defense force. He stated that the new unit was raised to counter modern threats on security. A Lagos High Court has banned local government areas from conducting marriages across the country. The court, in a judgment, declared that the local government unified marriage certificate was unknown to law and therefore unconstitutional, null and void. A certified true copy of the judgment by Justice I.O. Arinsin of Court 37 General Civil Division of the Lagos Judicial Division, dated May 15, 2017, in the suit number LD 1343 GCM 2016, was obtained by newsmen in Abuja. The plaintiff, Olamide Babalola, representing himself and other recipients of modified marriage certificate from the local government, had dragged the Ikeja local government and registered trustees of Association of Local Governments of Nigeria before the court over the modified marriage certificates issued by the first and second defendants. The plaintiff had sought a declaration that the first defendant did not have the powers to issue modified or customized marriage certificates different from the one provided in Form E under the Section 24 of the Marriage Act Law of Federation of Nigeria 1990. We bring you business news after this timeout. Please stay with us. Good to have you back on News on the Hour, coming to you from the studios of New Frontiers Television. And on the business scene, the managing director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Mr. Saleh Dunoma, has said that the agency has commenced the process of ending touting and other vices at the airport across the country. Dunoma said in a statement by the Acting General Manager, Corporate Affairs FAN, Mrs. Erienta Yakubu, that the development was part of effort to implement the executive order signed by Acting President Yemi Osinbajo. According to Dunoma, Osinbajo has ordered that touting by official or unofficial persons must end at all ports of entry to the country, and that on-duty staff must be properly identified by uniform and official cards, while off-duty staff must stay away from the port except with express approval of the agency head. The acting president had also said that all non-official staff should be removed from the secured area of airports, and that any official caught soliciting or receiving bribe from the passengers or other port users will be subjected to immediate removal from the post and will face disciplinary as well as criminal proceeding in line with extant law and regulations. The Nigerian capital market has recorded abysmal performance in the last 2 years of President Muhammadu Buhari's administration, as investors in the nation's stock markets lost 1.93 trillion worth of their investments in companies quoted on the Nigerian Stock Exchange, NSE. Specifically, data from the NSE showed that the stock market capitalization, which represents total value of stock traded on the exchange, declined by 1.93 trillion or 16.6% to 9,718 trillion at the close of trading on Friday, May 19, 2017, from 11,658 trillion naira it closed on May 28, 2015. Similarly, another stock market gauge, the NCE all share index, declined by 6,196 points or 18.1% to close on Friday, May 19, 2017 at 28,1133.44 points, from which it closed on May 28, 2015. Since Buhari took over on May 29, 2015, the market had been on bearish trend until the end of quarter this year, that the market started witnessing bullish run, though it had not been steady as both the bulls and the bear continue to interface. More than a third of British Airways flights from Heathrow were cancelled as thousands of passengers faced a second day of disruption. The airline was hit by a nationwide computer system power failure on Saturday, causing cancellations and delays for thousands of passengers. The airline has urged people to check the status of flights before traveling to the airport. Customers displaced by flight cancellation can claim up to €200 a day for a room based on 2 people sharing, €50 for transport between the hotel and the airport, and €25 a day per adult for meals and refreshments. One traveler from Situ said she had spent the evening sleeping on the floor of the hotel conference room. Ashley Tracy, who was trying to get to Mumbai for her friend's wedding, said she had been queuing to rebook her flight for 6 hours. Still on the business scene, the United Kingdom Department for International Development has said that 18 states in Nigeria now produce about 5.7 million metric tons of milled rice, bringing the country's production closer to 7 million metric ton projected milled rice requirement for 2016. According to a report on growth and employment in states, which was funded by the DPIF, these 18 states were selected based on their contribution to national rice production as per the 2015 Agricultural Production Survey. The April 2017 report, which was titled Mapping of the Rice Production Cluster in Nigeria and was made available in Abuja on Sunday by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, noted that in the 18 states, rice farming was widely spread across 165 clusters and 2,812 sub-clusters. It said the 2016 total paddy production estimate is put at 17.5 million tons, with the marketing surplus after post-harvest losses and domestic use of 11.4 million tons, equivalent to 5.7 million ton milled rice. We bring you foreign news after this timeout. Please stay with us. Straight to the foreign news. North Korea has test-fired a missile from Japan's maritime economic zone, the latest in a series of provocative launches that have heightened tension over its nuclear weapon ambitions. It was the North's third ballistic missile test in as many weeks and the 12th this year, carried out in defiance of UN sanction warning and US threat of possible military actions. U.S. military monitors said the short-range missile flew for 6 minutes, while Japan said it fell into the exclusive economic zone, extending 200 nautical miles from the coast. The launch went ahead despite tough talk from U.S. President Donald Trump, who promised last week at the G7 summit that the big problem of North Korea will be solved. Japan's Prime Minister Shinzo Abe swiftly condemned the test and vowed concerted action with its U.S. ally. Donald Trump has come out in support of his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, following report that the aide tried to set up a secret communication line with Moscow. In a statement given to the New York Times, Mr. Trump praised the great job Mr. Kushner is doing, but he did not directly address allegations made against the man married to his eldest daughter, Ivanka. It is claimed that Mr. Kushner discussed setting up a back channel with the Russian ambassador in December. The New York Times and Washington Post said he wanted to use the Russian facility to avoid U.S. interception of discussion with Moscow. He is reported to have done so before Mr. Trump assumed the presidency, so he would have been a private citizen at the time. The allegation came after Mr. Kushner was said to be under scrutiny as part of the FBI inquiry into alleged Russian meddling into the 2016 election. Reports in the U.S. says investigators believe he has relevant information, but it is not necessarily suspected of a crime. M15 is to hold an inquiry into the way it dealt with warnings from the public that the Manchester suicide bomber Salman Abedi was a potent threat. The security service, which was alerted to Abedi's extremist view 3 times prior to last Monday attack, will examine how it dealt with the warnings. Home Secretary Abner Ruud said it was right for M15 to review its processes. Early today, a man, 23, was arrested in Shoreham by Sea, West Sussex, on suspicion of terrorism offences. Greater Manchester Police said they had also executed search warrants at addresses in the Whalley Range area of Manchester and in Chester overnight. 7 children were among the 22 people who died when Abedi detonated a bomb on 22 of May at the end of the concert by the US singer Ariana Grande at Manchester Arena. With that, we come to the end of News on the Hour for this time. Thank you for your time. I am Temitope Oladipo.